guys, today I wanted to make a video about the starting 11 that Gareth Southgate picks for England in the World Cup. We'll go specifically for Monday's game against Iran. So this is basically going to be the starting 11 that I would pick. Now, I did give a starting 11 like on a video I made a couple of days ago, but I was doing that just like on the spot. I've had a bit more time to think about it now. And so what I'll start off with is the starting 11 I expect Southgate to play throughout this tournament. So it'll be Jordan Pickford in goal, it's got to be. And then I'm thinking Southgate will play a back three. So I'm going to go, depends how fit Kyle Walker is. I'll go John Stones because he's shown this season for Man City that he is capable of playing on the right. So I think that might play into Southgate's head in terms of his decision making. I'll go Eric Dyer in the middle, Harry Maguire on the left. It makes sense for the way that England are, that Southgate sets up England. And then I think the wing backs have got to be Trippier and Shaw. Midfield to Rice and Bellingham, and I would go. I think I keep saying I would go. I think Southgate would go. Kane up front as the central striker, obviously. Bukayo Saka on the right and Raheem Sterling on the left. Now, this isn't too dissimilar to my starting 11, to be completely honest. I would go personally change. I wouldn't go. I'd change the system, but I wouldn't actually change that many players. In fact, I think there's only one player I would change, and that is take Eric Dyer out, and I would probably bring in Mason Mount and just go 4-3-3, because I think a midfield of Rice, Bellingham and Mount has a lot of different skills and abilities covered there. You get a little bit of everything. You get Declan Rice's ability to bring the ball forward and protect the defence. You get Jude Bellingham's box-to-box energy and also his ability to, carry the ball. And you also get a bit of Mason Mount's creativity and ability to score goals as well. And I mean, both Bellingham and Rice can also score goals, but Mount is obviously more the attacking player out of the three of them. And I never understand why Mason Mount gets given a lot of stick by some England fans in terms of he's a safe player. He's one of Southgate's favourites, and I just think that's ridiculous, because the problem I think with a lot of England fans is they've some of them have grown up watching players like Paul Gascoigne, David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, like many others. And I don't think Mason Mount quite has that, I don't know, exciting, he's not a player who blows you away with what he can do with a football. He can do some brilliant things, but what I'm trying to say is he's not Paul Gascoigne, is what I'm getting to here. He's not a player who can produce moments of absolute magic that no other footballer on the earth can do. What he is, though, is he's just one of the best, not number 10s, because that's not what he is, but he's like, there's this sort of new style of attacking midfielder these days where it's almost they're part of the midfield. They have a lot more defensive responsibility than like a traditional number 10 would. Like it's part of helping out, but it's also about getting forward as well. So it's sort of like a deeper number 10 that has to run more, basically, but also at the same time try and maintain the amount of creativity that they get done. So that's for me, that would be why I would start that midfield. And my back four, now, Trippier and Shaw, I think, are absolutely certain to be starting, and I wouldn't disagree. I think with England, if you're playing AlexanderArnold, you'd have to. It sort of doesn't suit him, because he's not really a wing back, AlexanderArnold. He's not a player who's used to being pushed that far forward. Like, a lot of his best balls come from being deep. He actually very rarely gets into the penalty area. His favourite area on the pitch is almost to be like just outside the corner of the box, if that makes sense, which is where he has most of his joy. Or even like if he can come inside a little bit more and be about 30-35 yards from goal. So for me, I don't think I'd start him whether you start a back four or a back five. So I'd start Trippier. And then defensive pairing, John Stones has got to be in there, I think, 100%. And my problem with, like, obviously the two informed centre-backs that Gareth Southgate started are John Stones and Ben White. Now, Ben White would be, like, obviously, based on how he's playing, one of the first names on the team sheet. But the problem is England experience, like the amount of games he's played for England, isn't much. I think it's probably about 5 or 6 games, if that. And he's a right-sided centre-back. He probably can play on the left, but do you want to risk that based on what you've seen of him? Like at Arsenal, it's always been, when he's playing centre-back, he's always been on the right, and then you have Gabriel on the left. And John Stones is very much a right-sided centre-back as well. He probably could play on the left, but it's much more suited to him. So I think the safer option would probably be to play Harry Maguire. And that's purely down to experience. And also, I believe before the Euros, now a lot of people have made the argument of, oh, he's not been in great form, and also he hasn't actually played that much football so far this season. I think before the Euros started, he was injured and he missed the first 2 games of the Euros, ended up being in team of the tournament, which is some achievement given he only played 5 games. And I think he might have missed the final few games of the season for Man United as well in the 2021 season. So I think he would be capable of coming straight in, and plus the role he would play wouldn't be, too. I don't know what the correct word is to describe it, but I don't think it would be too much to ask from him, or sort of like all he's got to do is just hold the shape of the defence, really. And he's not as bad as people make out Harry Maguire. People like to make out he's one of the worst centre backs in the Prem. He's not. It's just he's not one of the best. Is the thing. He is a standard Premier League player. It's just like people love to highlight out his mistakes because of how much Man United paid for him, which is Man United's fault anyway. If Leicester are holding out for 80 million, if you choose to pay that, that's your fault, not the players, not Leicester's. A player can only play as well as he can play. And when you've got that much pressure on you, like Maguire had, you can understand why he goes through patches of bad form. But he's also gone through patches of very good form whilst he's been at Man United as well, and I believe that is very much forgotten about. So yeah, that would be my defence: Trippier, Stones, Maguire, Shaw. I've already said Pickford would be my goalkeeper, and then finally that leaves us with the attack. Up front, I would go what I think Southgate will go with, which is Saka, Kane, Sterling. And for me, Kane and Sterling, it's obvious pick, because Sterling did so well at the Euros last summer. His form at Chelsea recently hasn't been amazing, but I believe that's partly down to playing under a new manager, because under Tuchel he didn't actually do that badly. I didn't think anyway. But yes, Kane's no debate. First name on the team sheet, obviously, as he should be. And Saka on the right, I think he's probably got to play because we haven't actually got that many right-sided forward options. I'd say we've got Saka. I don't like Rashford on the right personally. I like seeing Rashford on the left or down the centre, so that's where I'd play him, or like bring him off the bench probably. Foden can obviously play on the right, but again, he's mostly played on the left for Man City, and you want to stick with familiarity of positioning. So for me, it would be Saka, and also he's been in great form recently for Arsenal as well. So for me, that's just an easy pick, to be honest. But anyway, that's my England starting 11. Comment yours down below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.